ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be reading Probadiddie. By who?
Chris Van Allsburg.
Chris Van Allsburg. So I want you to take a minute. Remember, we're working on inferring. That's a big word for pulling a little bit of information from here, a little from here, a little from here. Opening those files in our brains to figure out what is going on in a story. Right? You have a file for Chris Van Allsburg. Is that file pretty full by now?
Yeah.
That file is pretty full by now. It includes all of these books. You know that Chris Van Allsburg usually has a what kind of ending? There's usually a twist at the ending. So there's things that you know about this author. I want you to use what you know about Chris Van Allsburg to write down some predictions of what you think will be happening in this story. Some questions that you have about this story. And this part's going to stay what? Blank. Because you got to read the story a little bit before you actually infer. Remember that big word means you're taking everything you know, you're sticking it all together to figure it out. Right? You're opening all those files that you have. I'll give you a minute. Take some time. Predictions, questions, we just write it down. Questions, predictions. I'm also going to show you the back cover, too.
It's funny.
Write it down, fellas.
It's funny.
I think this time I want you to take it a minute with the buddy, your elbow buddy, somebody closest to you, and ask them. Ask them what you think, what they think is going to happen in this Chris Van Allsburg story. What's going to happen in this one? Keep it on or keep it off. And write it down. This is a time when it's okay to share ideas. Come all the way forward. All the way forward. And you're going to talk to Rebecca. All the way forward. Okay, Rebecca. You're a good buddy. Share with Brian. Share with three. If you got a third buddy that doesn't have somebody close to them, share with them also. So, for the thing is, what do you guys think? Talk to me. What's going to happen? What do you think, Justin? Who knows? Did you get a chance to share? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be ready to share in 3, 2, 1. You do not have to raise your hand. Let's popcorn, but I want you to popcorn loud enough so that if Ryan has a prediction or question, then Emily can hear what he has to say and maybe respond to him.
Yep.
Got it? Who wants to start us off? What do you think? You know, all this stuff about Chris Van Allsburg. You know how he illustrates, you know how he has a twist in the plot in the end. What is going to happen? Marcus, start us off. Big and loud voice.
Why is the title called Probadiddie? I'm thinking that the people are gonna attach the people to like what they do. I'm thinking that she's climbing on the chair because there's a spider on the ceiling. I'm trying to get it. I'm wondering if I'm thinking that Probadiddy is going to dance, and he or she is going to dance. I'm wondering if they're going to hypnotize the people to dance by him. I think that there's going to be some people that are trying to control people's minds, and she puts on a detective suit and tries to figure it out. I'm wondering what she's thinking. I think that they told me to dance. I'm wondering if they're having a behind it. I'm thinking that Probadiddy hypnotizes people to do really weird things. I'm wondering if Probadiddy, whatever her name is, I'm wondering why is she still, absolutely still? It's a book. It's a book. Yeah, so what? They could have showed her have some lines. It's not like a movie book or something. It's like a 70s movie. Yeah, it's like a 70s movie. It's like them little things.
Any of you?
Eyes on you.
It was getting really good, and if people had continued to respond to Anthony, then other people could have given suggestions because they may have misunderstood what he said. What he was trying to say is, why is she frozen, right? And people misunderstood what he said, and maybe if we had talked a little more, we would have gotten to that point. We're going to stop. I'm going to read a little bit. Write down any questions or predictions that you have while I read. Then we'll popcorn again after we've read a while. Probadiddy by Chris Van Allsburg. Thinking of move yourself. Don't complain about it.
I don't have anywhere else.
There's plenty of places. Here we go. Calvin waited quietly outside Trudy's bedroom. Then it happened. A scream, a very loud scream. Calvin ran to his room and dove into bed. He heard his mom coming down the hall. Write it down. Perfect thing to write down, Justin. Did you do this? Calvin looked out from under the covers. His mother stood over him, holding a rubber spider. Do what? He asked. You put that thing in my bed, Trudy told him, stepping out from behind Mama. Don't think just because it's your birthday you can get away with this. Mama scolded. If you've ever been scolded, thumbs up. Really? You're all perfect? You've never been scolded? If you did this, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I've been scolded.
Keep your thumb up if you've been scolded by Mom.
Yo!
Thumb up, scolded by Dad.
My mom. Yeah.
Keep your thumbs up if you've ever been scolded. Oh, I didn't ask for a response. I just said thumbs up. Thumbs up if you've ever been scolded by a teacher.
Oh,
Keep it up if you've ever been. Oh, you need to listen very carefully. I asked you just to vote with your fingers, not with your voice. If you've ever been scolded by the principal. Okay. So here is Calvin getting scolded by Mom. Is Mom happy or? If you think that she's pretty cross right now, double thumbs up. She is not happy with Calvin right now. Here we go. You do want your present, don't you? That wiped the smile off Calvin's face. Of course I do. Then you need to apologize. Calvin dropped his head. Sorry, Trudy, he muttered. The best thing to do is have to sit against me. my 4.0 GPA students up here. They're crisscrossed, they got their journals in their laps. They are busy writing in their journals. They're not laying on the floor, they're sitting up on their bottoms. Here, Mama said, happy birthday. At the breakfast table, she handed Calvin an envelope. Inside there were tickets to the matinee show of Lomax the Magnificent, the world-famous magician and hypnotist. You got 2 tickets there, Mama said. And I know somebody who would really like to go with you. She smiled at Trudy. You don't mean her, do you? Calvin asked, eyeing his sister. If you're eyeing somebody, how might you look? Eye your partner. Not asking you to talk to him, just eye him. Ooh, I like your stare, Ryan. Look at his eyes. He's eyeing him. Here we go. Well, that would be nice, but those tickets are yours. If you want to ask somebody else, Calvin did not wait for his mom to finish. He bolted right out the front door to Rodney's house, his pal next door, that the 2 of them were going to go see Lomax the Magnificent. How did he do that? Rodney asked. Calvin shook his head in amazement as he and his friends sat in the darkened theater watching Lomax slide a burning candle in one ear and pull it out the other. Then the magician invited a woman from the audience onto the stage. She sat down in front of the spinning spiral disc, just staring at it. Lomax leaned over and whispered to her and spoke loudly. You are a chicken, madam. The woman jumped up, strutted around in a circle, flapping her arms up and down, and then climbed into the chair, clucking loudly and bobbing her head up and down like a chicken. Lomax snapped his fingers and shouted out, "Probidity!" The woman instantly stopped and looked out at the audience, mystified by their wild laughter. Calvin and Rodney thought it was the funniest thing they had ever seen.
Is it 40? No, have it on Where's the guy? Is there somebody?
So I'm going to stop. What do you think is going on with this story? Who wants to start us off? Let's start us off, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get some close-ups of my popcorn-a-roos. Excuse me. Over here.